You ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the show with, I'm Veronica Bartolini with Unchained Hearts on Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul. Katie Camara is our producer, and Shannon Robin Smith. And we had technical difficulties. I don't know if it's because we were talking about certain things earlier, but we're back. So
Possibly.
we have a call-in show, and Katie, I don't have the phone number memorized, but people can call in. And
Yes.
we're live.
The phone number is 929-436-2866 with the meeting ID 522-657-2748 when prompted. It is also listed up on the live feed on the video stream and in the descriptions up on YouTube and Facebook Live.
Yay. So we're back Facebook. Okay, we're back live. Let me share this real quick. All right. And then
Katie is a fabulous producer.
yes, she is. I'm very grateful. So what did we say we're going to talk about, Shannon? Do you want to talk about your friend, like not naming any names, what happened? Because I sent you a video earlier.
Yeah, he was supposed to call in, and I don't know if maybe family, took him away from stuff, happens. So being from this town or this space that I have described, we have these very deep roots, and he has described some things that as he describes them, I'm like, I think I was there, or like I can either see what he's describing, where he describes even being pulled out of class, and they're gonna go read a book with this person that's like a volunteer or something, and all the kids that were in this, they were pulled into like a gymnasium or something. They were given like this little trinket, and it was just, something, benign. And the person, it was a man, he said. I'm like, was it a dolphin man? I don't know. I don't remember what he said, but basically that's yours to keep, put it in your pocket. It's yours. And the next morning he woke up gone.
What trinket was it? Did it matter?
He said it kind of looked like a tiny ball, like the size of maybe a nickel or a quarter, with like spikes on it. It was just kind of like a little trinket that maybe went along with the story. A kid wouldn't think any different. And it was gone. And like he searched everywhere for it. It was like really important to him, Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and he actually did think like, maybe I swallowed it in the night. Like maybe it's like as a kid, he'd been like second or third grade, and so, who knows? I have a friend saying, should I call in now?
Yes, have him call, or him or her.
It's not the same person, but
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, who knows where it went, and if it is those things that people have talked about as like having implants or what have you. He doesn't know. So he definitely has had some very unique experiences. And I think, did I say this on camera before, or but there's been several people, I can name them, but I'm not going to, that have had unique experiences that are like metaphysical, or just wrapped around either they're thinking, am I crazy, and I don't think they are. I don't think they are at all. I think there's just something very unique about that space, and I'm pretty sure that there's, if not, and I don't know how vortexes work or ley lines, but I'm definitely interested. So I'm excited to talk to Mario in the future.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully I can send him up there.
Yeah, like for example, at the Westgate Casino Resort where we stayed, for the SSP Super Soldier Conference, that used to be the Hilton. And so Max Spears talks about how you can be in a certain room in that ley line, because it's actually West Gate is a gate, okay? It's a gate. Mm-hmm. And you go through portals, whatever. But this person can be, like, say, for example, I'm in room 2228. That was my room number.
Awesome.
And then you could be 22nd floor, 28, right? And I could be in this room, and another person can be somewhere else in the same grid line, kind of like connecting to the Sandia, or just connecting through a portal or a gate, and they can take us at the same time. I have this memory waking up in 2017. I woke up on my bed. I'm like, holy F, where am I? Like I ran to my my roommate and I told her, are we still on Earth? Did you see anybody take me? Because I was taken physically, and I came to my room. I woke up and I'm like, I don't sleep on my stomach ever. Because since I was a little kid, my mom would say, don't sleep that way because your boobs are gonna hang when you're older. And I'm like,
you sleep on your stomach?
I can't. She would tell us, and my sisters and I, that we couldn't sleep.
What if you'd like tucked them up? Would that be helpful?
It was a program. She said no, so I couldn't sleep that way, and that's the way I woke up. So when they took me back like that, and I'm like, where am I? I totally thought I was off planet. And now I know it's when they take you and they do what somebody named it the 20 and back, whatever. I don't really know how many 20 and back, 60 and back, whatever, because I'm still being taken. But it's like that kind of experience was like, oh.
So my dad always, like, if he would always push us to the side.
Oh, okay. On your side?
Mm-hmm. Like never allowed to be open on your back.
I can't sleep on my back either because my heart hurts. I feel like they're going to take me.
You're just like open.
Yeah, but
you'd always push us on our sides. Yeah.
A lot of pain. And then today when I did my regression, I found out that now I know why I have that baby voice. I have a baby voice that came in when my little sister was born. I was 9, and I started talking to my baby voice. And for years, and I still talk with my kids or with my cat, whatever. How you doing today? What you going to school today? Like that is really eerie. Like, but I thought, well, it's like a endearment thing, cariño. And I found today that actually, because I was taken when I was 3 years old, and I saw myself finally today. The baby, the 3-year-old that they took in the program, was there laying like this, open heart, mm-hmm. And they made all of my other home bodies from the little baby girl, and she's still there now.
Well, and I think, and Katie can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Erickson that did a lot of the child development stuff. So like if there's a new baby that comes in like around that age, you kind of regress and kind of make yourself more babyish to be that baby, because you're not really fully developed for whatever reason. You're just, we all have splinter skills. That's what we call in the biz.
Yeah, and then the SSP, it's called mind fracture, right? And that's why you have dissociative identity disorder.
It's not.
And it used
it's
to
not
be
the same, but
personality disorders, isn't it?
It's not really the same. It's when you're little, it's like splinter skills would be more like I can go potty by myself, but I can't get myself dressed. So you're splintered in that you can use it, you can take care of your toileting needs, but you're maybe not able to put your shirt on. So it's just kind of like you have all the skills, but for whatever reason, something's hemming you up.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I found out is that I already knew, there was a lot of molestation with the family. I'm not going to mention who or whatever, but I have those memories. And yeah, it's been since, I do remember being on a Andromedan ship at 3. And I do remember sitting in front of the TV, just I was the first one up all the time, sitting in front of the TV, and it was just the screen, the snow. And I saw this man in my regression today pointing. He was in a suit. He was kind of grayish. He had like reddish curly hair, kind of balding, and he pointed to the door. And so now I know, yeah, I was told to go outside all the time. And the neighbors, I found out a long time ago, I knew something was going on because I would end up in the neighbor's house either alone. There's a little tiny pool that I would go to, and my mom couldn't find me. Sometimes she would spank me because she's like, you're not supposed to leave. You're only 4 or 5, 3 years old at the time. And then I'm folding clothes with the neighbors. I live in front of Lincoln Elementary School at this time in Nogales, Arizona. The playground is to my left, the school's to my right, and then the neighbor, it has a bunch of kids, and I'm folding all kinds of kids' clothes. And I asked her, I said, well, why am I just folding? Why do you guys have so many underwear? And later on, through my regression and in my dreams and in flashbacks, I find out that it was a child trafficking ring. So the little child, yeah, that little child is still, it's pretty much my light body. They have her still. And I was able to get all of my clones and my avatars, my alters, which is actually their real bodies, okay? Because they use your DNA, they use your body parts, we'll say, using the black goo, nanotechnology, femto, whatever you want to call it. And I got them on a ship together, and I was able to integrate them. Now I have more alters, but those that I was able to remember and write down, and with the flashbacks and all that, I was able to integrate them. Today, I feel much better. I was able to, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb all day, and it was the most peaceful thing because the regression was 4.5 hours. And so I feel great. I could think better. And I was able to cut lines, cut cords with those that are not my good alters. So.
Well, could your alters be like your shadow too? That also they've
been on missions on Mars, the Saturn, Neptune, and the moon, and then other dimensions, and also underground, which are the portals, the Project Crystal Gate that I talked about. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding it, but they are real. They are other bodies that they take us into. They take our consciousness, they take our blood, and they use us in this program. There's a fine line between that and having somebody be crazy, but what is crazy and what is normal. So, did your friend or no?
I don't think so. I don't know that I would know. I guess that would be through Katie.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard from him, but I think he's I don't know what's the word, recluse. Like he doesn't, he doesn't really want to come out publicly.
Yeah.
But
the video that I sent you, and I shared also with Katie and others, is more projects are coming out with people remote viewing others. And there are people that teach remote viewing. And I feel that remote viewing is, if you don't have the permission of the others, it's like spying. Okay. So the thing with me and us,
it's fine. And you can manifest.
Yeah.
Because we are the creator beings. You can also then imprint your own intentions or your own perceptions.
Exactly. And that's where the fine line is. It's like, we already come in, like we talked about earlier, with all of our abilities, and we can do that, but there's some people that can't. They just have a block, or maybe they don't have that ability, or maybe they need to be taught how to do it. But what I have a problem with is when they're spying on us real super soldiers. That's all I'm going to say. Also, DARPA was granted huge amounts of money.
Is it more of a fear, or because you have the ability to just?
Yeah, I don't have a fear.
Okay, no, I don't have a fear.
No. Let me give you an example.
Okay, because they don't need to be seeing nothing.
Exactly. No, me, I guard myself all the time. But what I'm saying, okay, let me give you an example. this morning I had to block someone that I've been talking to for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. He's been asking me all kinds of questions. I've been giving him the answers that I have, or referring him to videos or people that he can talk to. Okay, and we were very telepathic together, and all of a sudden he's not on a certain application, and we were supposed to do a show together, and I'm like, I wonder what happened, because I had to get someone else on the show, and I'm like, I wonder what's going on. Like I felt some kind of anger issue, and then I said, so to make a long
like it's happened before.
No, this has never happened before. So I feel like
like there's resonant energy that's happened previous that he's let you down, type of thing.
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
Okay.
And so like I said, there's these energy weapons that will be used to separate people, whether it's in a group or your family. Okay, they'll send these thoughts to people, right? Or it could be an archon or spirit, whatever, that takes over their body for a few minutes. Okay, and then we'll make that person say something to you, and then it's crazy. It's like it causes a scene, it causes pain with words and things like that. So he made a comment on Instagram, and I said yes, because I saw him doing the certain thing automatically. Do you, because I was saying something like, okay, I need to go get an MRI because I have 4 hernias, on my lower lumbar. And I've been fighting with the insurances since August of 2018. It happened in June of 2018. I've been through physical therapy twice. It's not working, denied an MRI twice. And the reason why they denied MRIs is because they don't want us getting our memories back, because MRIs have the ET technology. Okay. So make a long story short, I said, yeah, I did see you, working out, of course, because he said something about, well, I have a hernia, blah, 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 and you think I still work out? And I'm like, yeah, because he's gun-ho like that. And I was giving him a compliment. And I'm not going to name names. I still love you, brother, but no more. I can't communicate no more because I feel like he's been taken over. Then on the Instagram, he says, are you remote viewing me? I don't give you permission to. And I'm like, no, I just know, and everything turned sour. And I'm like, you know what? I have given you counseling for almost 2 years, and I thought you were my friend, but I cannot spend my energy anymore on this. And so I had to block him. And with DARPA, CIA, CERN, all these projects getting more money from Black Ops, they actually have places where they're training people how to do certain things and invade on purpose other people. Okay, and this is a cyber war that's going on, and it's been going on for many years, but right now it's amping up more. And so it's just weird. Like you were telling me about your friend, about that accident thingy, doesn't remember this, doesn't remember that. So it's not just all in your mind. There's a difference between being a targeted individual and in your imagination.
Yeah, definitely.
And they broke into my mom's house twice last year. They broke into my apartment. They didn't take anything. On January the 1st, I'm followed all the time. There's a member of my family, I'm not going to say who, this person's being followed too. I tell them, don't give in to fear, because they can't hurt you. I'm here as a mission to speak about all this. I only know the truth. The truth to me is what I'm going to put out there. And no, I've already been talked to about an agent through an agency and been warned, but this is my mission, guys. We're not crazy.
They can't. I mean, the only avenue in, or the only road in, is when you believe that it's possible. When you don't, then they can't.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Jelly bean. Yes, I do. Sure do, tennis shoe. But anyway, I didn't mean to talk over you. I just wanted to get that point across,
No, you didn't at all. You didn't at all. because I think when you've had these experiences and you have these memories that get stirred up, you're like, it is possible, because at some point I was vulnerable.
Right.
Right. So it kind of like, there's a or there's a foot in the door to create fear or to stir up those old feelings. But no, you can, like, you are the manifester of your own reality, period. Right. So if you say no, the answer is no, because you're captain of this ship. You're driving this boat, man.
I am the ship, baby.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, they might be presented or whatever it is, like, oh, I just saw some kind of apparition over there, and I'm saying to get the F out, right? But that's it. That's as far as they get.
Exactly, you're right. And I see that all day, every day. It's like, yeah, I see you. What do you want? If it's not for my highest good, get the F out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't even get any like mantra out, because I'm already like,
yeah. It's like, step off, B.
Yeah. It's the same, and you can apply that to everything, and because it can just canvas everything.
True.
So we are the little G to the big G.
So yeah. Did you want to go into, was your father ever military? Do you have any memories? Did you want to talk about what we wrote about on Messenger?
Sure. Which one?
Your significant other? Your ex-husband?
Well, late husband. Well, he passed away. How he had that knowing, I don't know how he knew that he was going to pass, how he went through the previous really 2 years, but most I guess obvious would be that summer before he passed on December 31st. He did a lot of it, like making amends with people, even from way back in his like teenage years. He left. So he died in the van that we owned, or that was like in my name. Okay. What he left behind was a vehicle that was a lease. So I turned that in really quick. I turned that thing because when you're I guess something of the estate, you take on that responsibility, and I turned that thing in real quick because it was over miles, but it wasn't my lease, it was his. But he happened to pass away in the vehicle that was owned by me. But in the lease vehicle, when I was cleaning it out, this was the big confirmation, the big validation for me, is I pulled out, and I still carry it in my wallet to this day, this poem that I believe he clipped it from our hometown's newspaper, because it's like the only newspaper he ever read. Like, he would read it when we'd go home, because his dad was like the advertising director for years for that newspaper, but it was like the only one that he would ever read. So, but anyway, it said, it was like a memorial for somebody, and it said, or the title of it is "When I Am Gone." And it's like, who leaves that? Who leaves that behind, folded up in the console of the lease vehicle that you're not even driving anymore? I don't know. But I remember cleaning the vehicle out because I was going to go turn it into the dealership. And I pulled out this scrap piece of paper, and I unfolded it. And I'm like, oh my God. I just dropped it in the driver's seat, like, I do not know what to do. And I kept about my thing, and I went back to it, and I still carry it in my wallet. Yeah, there was a lot of strange things. And that was the year of the Mayan apocalypse. I had potable water for about 5 years in my garage. And if you ever need a toothbrush, let me know, or batteries, because I still have them. But, he just, in his, people weren't really awakened to that, And I still don't think that we are now to know that, to have that realization or what he thought might happen. On that, what was it, December 21st or something, that it was supposed to happen, the Mayan apocalypse was supposed to happen, the end of days. So, you know, he didn't see 2013. So it was incredible. It was incredible that somebody in that state could know all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So
was he sick or anything? Was he?
You know, I guess maybe that's part of, you know, I'm kind of like breezing over it, because it's like you kind of like say what you have to say, and then it's like, all right, what else is there to say about it? But you know, there were some really visible things that would happen to him physically.
Was he like SSP? Was he taken?
Probably.
Was he in the military?
Yes. I could turn the camera so you can see this flag.
Oh,
you know, the memorial flag. It's just right over there. But yeah, he was Navy, and he was stationed in, most of the time, in San Diego. That was before I knew him. But he was also stationed in Okinawa, and I think he started his career, of course, in Chicago, and then Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm.
Did he ever share anything, like any memories or anything bizarre? I guess because you were getting ready to say some things that happened or whatever, or that you found out.
You know, he would share things that really touched him, that really kind of rocked him morally, like how young women by their families were used to pay off debt in the Philippines or in Thailand, and that he really struggled with that stuff. He was the youngest of 3 older sisters, so that touched him deeply. So there was those things. He also talked about a man that he knew, I think he was enlisted with, that was like basically beat to death. And I think that would happen in Japan, and that was like really bizarre for Japan. Like the culture just doesn't, it was other military guys.
Oh, wow.
That caused it. So, you know, he was, I think I'm a very sensitive person. So I think a lot of that stuff I really kind of either just said, okay, I've heard enough. Oftentimes. So he didn't share like the day-to-day routine or anything like that. You know, he was out to sea most of the time. He was enlisted during the Gulf War. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sorry, he passed away. It must have been.
Yeah. But you know, there's always been a sense of like even since his funeral, I think one of my friends came up to me, and you know, people like to say to the widow, you know, like, how are you? Really? How do you think I am?
Yeah.
You know, and I think like a girlfriend came up to me and said that like for like the 100th time, you know, and I was very honest with her. I'm like, how do you think I am? You know, because I could be real, you know, and not put on that brave face. And then after that, you know, like in the wake of that, literally, was, you know, I know that he's okay. Like there's just such a peace over me, truly, that his soul is at rest, and like he's no longer like tormented by all these things that he actually didn't share. You know, he would touch on things, but not completely share. Because I don't even watch scary movies. Okay, like that's not. There's just far too much for me. Anything like rapey, torture, I'm out, done, not gonna do it. So, you know, I think that he just didn't. He shared a lot of his experiences. It just wasn't necessarily things that like jump out in my mind of like, oh, this is really important to share. Yeah, I think in, you know, the back end of those things, like coming back into civilian life was probably harder for him than actually being in the military career. So, and then dealing with whatever he experienced that he didn't share, and definitely things that he experienced in his youth that he was escaping, was what he was dealing with at his passing. And that definitely was a catalyst to his bipolar disorder, for sure.
Yeah.
And whether it's actually bipolar, that's just something that we've named it. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. But you also asked me about like my experience as being with, you know, being a special ed teacher. So the students that I taught were post high school. So they were students that have completed or like kind of aged out of their high school experience. So my students were generally 18 or 19 to 26. And oftentimes, like, I remember this one year, I had a student that had been blind since birth. I could tell you his name, and like all these students were so precious to me because I would have them year after year, you know, and they all are anyway. But I would have one student that could read Braille and type Braille at the 4th grade level because, you know, he was blind since birth. And then I'd have another student that couldn't recognize his own face on a picture. So that, I mean, those are the beginning stage, very, very beginning stages of reading. Like you're like seeing something that's a symbol, like McDonald's. Like your kids knew how to read McDonald's before they knew how to read, or, you know, be able to sound out the word McDonald's, right? Because they saw the symbol, right? The M. So, and I'd have those two students in the same room. So that was the span of abilities. And, you know, they taught me so much, probably more than I taught them, about like learning how to anticipate, which isn't always a good thing because they need to be able to advocate for themselves, but speak their language essentially, and be able to see what is a need or a want or a desire, or how to get into speaking their language so that you could actually find an inroad to actually teach them something. So that was incredibly valuable experience for sure.
I took a Math 301 class at the university, and when I was getting my teaching degree, and they didn't let us use what we knew about math. They had us use an abacus. We couldn't use numbers. You know, we couldn't use what we already knew, like algebra, geometry, nothing. And so the main point of that was for us to feel, to understand how the kids felt when they were in elementary, barely touching upon the subject of math. And I thought it was hard because, you know, you couldn't use anything and you had to start at zero.
Yeah, I remember taking probably the similar idea where we had a number system in a math class based on 8 rather than 10. And that was like, you had to learn math all over again, right? Because we were using the same principles. It was just a number system based on 8 rather than 10. It really twisted you up. I also had to teach. I was at the university of obviously doing like the teaching thing that you got to do. You know, you go to the classrooms and things like that. But they also had me be with the adults that had anywhere from had Down syndrome, autism, couldn't speak as well. You know, like you were saying, and I had to speak to them through art. So they would be painting or whatever, and I would just be talking with them and interacting with them. And I just remember this lady. She was like maybe in her 20s, 25, this girl, and it's like they're like little kids. Like they're so loving. They're
they want to learn, they're eager to learn, and they're so innocent, you know. And it was through art that we came together. And it's like, wow, like I had to learn, like you, I'm sure, had to learn everything from, you know, little kids all the way to adults and in special education, and we'll call it normal. So it, and because in the class, you never knew if you're going to have someone with autism or whatever, versus being able to see, right, you know, understand, or that they call ADHD. I also had to deal, you know, learn a lot from those. And there was a particular young boy in elementary who had autism and also ADHD. So when he got too riled up, they had me use a it's one of those bristles, like those brushes when you have your baby, and it looks kind of like a rectangle, and it has like black bristles here on the top. So I'd have to run the brush very lightly.
Oh, brushing? It's like a tactile
yes,
therapy. Yeah.
To calm him down. And that totally helped, because I would use it on myself too. And my son, he was the same way I was too, like real hyper. And they had labeled him and myself too with ADHD. So I tried that. And once in a while, I'll use that when I'm, or tapping, you know, people say tapping. Yeah. I am sovereign. This is going to be good. I know I don't want to go to, you know, this person's house, but everything's going to work out here. Yeah, everywhere. The topic. I love it. Yeah.
I know.
It works.
It does work. It does work. Totally works. So yeah, like I have had students, I've been headbutted, I've been peed on, I have been, you know, cross-checked in the hallway. I have changed, you know, feeding tube ports, which I don't know whether or not we're really supposed to do that.
Back in the day, we could, you know, and
yeah,
you know,
I've cleaned trays.
It's okay. Oh, trachea.
I've cleaned trays. I have done things that you don't think that a special education teacher does in a center-based school. Done it. Yeah. Done it.
I believe you.
I know people that have had broken nose, have torn ears. Like, you know, this isn't, it's not, you know, imagine yourself getting at, you know, the highest height of like your rage and then not be able to express it. That's what happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, it reminds me, I also worked for CPS for a time, and transporting children and taking them from homes and things like that, taking them to courts, taking them to, you know, visitations, taking them to CPS, taking them to medical appointments, you name it, to school, whatever. And the hardest thing for me was to take a baby away from the couple where they were drug addicts. And it was such a long ride. They had, they gave me a Chevy Impala because they knew that I had the training, that I was in the military before and all that. So they trusted me, you know, but the hardest thing for me was to take that baby, because it's like the parents were crying and I had to take the baby. And
because
then,
it isn't a lack of love. You know, if you were gauging things on love, it's something else. It's something else, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. My students weren't necessarily uncared for. They were oftentimes, probably parents put themselves, or families put themselves out there on the line, that maybe didn't serve their other children in their family the way maybe we all think that they should be. But you do things for your family and you put yourself out there and try to make the best environment, you know, that you can. So I have had experiences with that as well. And it, not that specifically, but where there's been somebody that, or a student that has been defiled, that's probably not the right word, but, you know, has been injured in some way that was abusive. And that's incredibly painful. And not being able to express it, you have to go on the signs like there's something wrong. There's something wrong. The things that he or she is saying is not part of their norm, and this is how they're reacting. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, I often talk about that, you know, because a lot of people say, okay, well, you're over here saving the children, blah, 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 but what do we do here? And, you know, as maybe we're not in the SSP program. Well, that's exactly what you said. Look for the signs. What are they saying? Believe the children. The children are so innocent, you know. Why would they lie?
When you, like you have a very like detached 20-something-year-old that is suddenly trying to crawl in your lap because they trust you. Something's wrong. You don't necessarily, you know, it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's abuse. It could be that they don't feel well. I mean, it could be something.
When they take off their pants, their underwear in front of everybody, and it's past that age where we were talking about this earlier, where kids don't want to wear clothes. That's normal, you know, that but for them to, or for them to be touching other kids inappropriate, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, going back to when I had to get the baby.
But I did have a student that just was really sensitive, and all she wanted to do was have her clothes off.
Oh yeah. Now that
was different. That was different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's really understandable.
But we have to keep them on.
Yeah. And yeah. So I pick the baby up and, you know, put her in the seat and all that, make sure she's tied up and everything, you know, appropriately for the law, whatever. And then I get a flat tire, and it's about a 1.5 hour drive, and I get a flat tire. And I was like, what do I do? Because the baby's crying, you know, do I attend to the baby or do I change the tire? I know how to change tires. We have to, right? As women, we have to, single women, we have to learn how to change tires. Anyway, I think, well, it would be a good idea. So anyway, I was like in the dilemma, do I change
You work for an agency, you call AAA and you attend to the baby.
Right. And then I called it in. I'm like, yo, this is what's going on. I'm holding the baby. The good thing is that a gentleman comes over and helps me change the tire, and I'm in a dilemma where the baby needs a diaper change. You're not allowed to change the diaper. It's like, oh my God. So I call it in again. Hey, I'm gonna have to change the baby's diaper because it's really bad and I don't want the baby to get rash and blah blah blah. So I had to. It was already nighttime by the time I got, you know, back to where I had to take the baby. And then when I was a police officer, I had to take the baby from the parents while CPS showed up at the precinct. Again, I had to get permission to change the baby's diaper because, you know, it's so touchy, like the subject, because they're in transition of being used to trying to get them somewhere safe. Now, unfortunately, some CPS workers, social workers, whatever, they do work with other agencies, we'll say, and, you know, and we'll put them on purpose with a home where they're going to be abused or child trafficked. So there's a fine line. All I can say is look at, like you said, look at the signs, see how the parents or the foster parents act with them in public.
Yeah. And I think as from a professional standpoint, if there's somebody in my care or that I'm responsible for, and they need assistance to take care of whether it's an individual, like, you know, a baby or an adult, they can't sit in that. You know, you have to move forward and try to rectify the situation, whatever that is. And I have been put in those situations, and I'm like, you know, different, but yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's like, you know, especially back in the day, it's like PC and everybody's suing everybody, and it's like you don't want anything, you know.
No, and you're just there to do a job, and you have a job that your heart is in.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do as a caring, nurturing parent? Well, that's what you do. Yeah. Shocker. But you actually, you know, like, they soil themselves, you help them clean themselves up, whether it's an infant or adult, you know. So
yeah,
that's how it is.
It is. So
I don't know how we got on the subject, but whatever.
I know. So I think we have about 10 minutes or so, Katie. Are we good on time? That way you can go ahead and tell everybody, Shannon, what you do, how to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to be on your show, or I don't know, like what do you like to do on a daily? How do you connect with people?
We're like it was all like, you were like Max Headroom for a minute. You have to say it again.
What?
You were like Max Headroom for a moment.
Who's that?
Remember Max Headroom from like the 80s? He was like, "Nee," and he
Oh
was like,
my God.
make this like
I remember.
techno.
What did you say?
Say it again.
So we have about a few minutes. That way you can tell everybody what you do, what you like to do, how they can get a hold of you, and your shows, your interviews, if people want to be on your show, or a little bit more about stuff. Your stuff.
Okay. So by trade, I'm a special education teacher and I do it virtually now. But on Fridays, I also do a podcast, and we've had different schedules too, where I've had other regulars on. Some people have had some things in their personal life that have just kind of taken them away. But regularly, I have a Friday morning podcast with Dreama, my shaman. And that's at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she's really the practitioner. She's really the full-time practitioner. I'm the host. I'm the Katie or the Veronica. I kind of do both. And so we just kind of come up with a topic every morning. And yes, she is available for appointments. I support her. She's my go-to girl, as you know, Veronica. But Friday mornings on ievolvetv.com. And
can anyone join in? Like if they want to?
Yeah, absolutely. You would have to get up at like 5 a.m. You're behind. Yeah, wait, how does that work?
Right now it's 9:16 p.m. in Tucson, and it's Mountain Standard Time here. That doesn't change.
It's 12:16 a.m. here.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. So that it would be 3 hours.
3 hours.
So you'd have to get up at like 5.
Or not sleep that night. Sometimes I don't sleep anyway. So thank you.
Which is fine. We love to have conversations. We love to have the give and take. We love those types of things. And Dreama kind of really goes throughout her week, and she'll what are clients bringing to her, and what is the most, what's kind of sticking out as the topic. But we enjoy that time definitely on Friday mornings. So that's what I've been doing lately. That's our regular show.
And working out.
I'm
stronger.
Yeah, I mean I've been trying to
go to CrossFit, right?
Yeah, I'm a CrossFitter. So actually I feel like COVID kind of like derailed that for a little while, but yeah, I'm going on like 9 years, but I'm a little flabby right now.
It's okay. I had 9 years of depression, anxiety, going through so many surgeries. It was horrible. Epidural shots. I had the CPAP going. I finally gave that up. I'm not taking any medication. It's going on 3 years this June. I'm very happy. Changed my whole life again, because I was always working out since I was 13. I would do step aerobics, jazzercise, all that. So 9 years.
I love jazzercise.
Dude, we should do that. Oh my gosh. Okay. We should do a live.
And Zumba. I love Zumba.
I love Zumba. But but I love to lift heavy. But yeah, we should try doing a live Zumba.
I lift heavy. But my Zumba, I would say she's mine. But anyway, she's like one of my besties. But she's a salsa dancer. So like the Zumba that I would go to is like really cool Zumba,
I love those kinds of Zumbas.
Yeah. So I didn't mention is the time that I got really, really sick and had to get a spinal tap. I never mentioned that to you.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. Like I don't know why I was sick. I had this weird fever. I don't know why I just thought of this.
How long ago was that?
trying to think. It was in August or July or August. It was
You
hot.
never
It was
told me.
summer.
Yeah.
So it's 2021 now. It would have been like 18.
What was it, like the sciatica, or I don't know?
I don't know. But I was really sick. I had a fever. I was really sick. I didn't want to eat. And so one of the things that happens to me is if I get really sick, like a fever, I will pass out.
Whoa.
So
Does that have to do with being anemic or your blood type? I don't know.
it's adrenal stuff.
Oh.
Weak adrenal system. Yeah. Like if there's multiple stressors on my adrenal system, like if it's stress, emotional, like multiple things, like change in diet, change in workout, that will kind of like tax it more, right? I mean, that does it for anybody. But for me, my blood pressure will drop and I will pass out. So yeah, there's multiple occasions that's happened. So that's many stories. But anyway, so this time that I got really sick, I went to the like urgent care and I was like, something's wrong. They did urine tests, blood tests, nothing. They thought it was like, some kind of weird like flu, right? Nothing. Everything was clear. So I went home. I was still really, really sick. Like it was such a weird thing. Like every muscle on my body was twitching.
Oh, wow.
It was incredibly painful. Because after a while, imagine like, activating every muscle in your body, like for days constantly, like on and off. That's going to hurt after a while. And it did. So the second time that I went, I actually called an ambulance. I could not take myself there. And they did a spinal tap, still nothing. They never, and they ended up giving me antibiotics, just thinking, okay, this is a shot in the dark. And I did get better after a couple of days, in tramadol. Like I've never been on any medication, never.
I don't like that tramadol. It's funny because, I was getting myself off of, oh my gosh, the worst was oxy and morphine and then clonazepam. So I gave the medication. I'm like, I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of getting the epidurals. They wanted to take 4 vertebrae out of my neck, blah, blah, blah. And
what?
Yeah, because
so you'd be like this
to insert new ones with the meniscus or whatever the crap, take them out, put in some new ones. And I'm like, what? I looked up the actual surgery online for one. Oh, hell no. They put like a bone and stuff. And then they put these 2 huge screws in there. And then after like 6 months or a year.
So would you not be able to turn your neck? Like you would have to be like this?
What's up? What'd you say? like Steve Carell and Tina Fey in the movie Date Night. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, and then they wanted.
But I think I know somebody that does that already. Anyway, go.
We're not making fun, okay, guys?
No,
we're very funny people. But anyway, so
we're very funny people.
So what was I saying? So they wanted to give me gabapentin, and I'm like,
what is it?
No. And then dude, it was terrible. I'm like, no. I went cold turkey, and it took a month for me to, like, I had these feverish chills. I was living for myself, and it was like, I kept saying, if I don't die from this, great, but if I die, oh well. It's like, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna be done with all that medication, and I am. And sometimes my mom will get upset because she wants me to take some sleeping pills because she worries that I don't sleep that much. I'm like, no thanks. Like, go see a doctor. No thanks. The only
I don't sleep. I don't sleep very well.
Yeah.
Well, I sleep well once I'm asleep, but getting myself there is an issue.
Yeah,
but I take Irwin Naturals. It's called Power to Sleep. look into it.
Erwin Naturals Power to Sleep. Okay, thank you. My daughter, she has this tea that's mixed with like 6 or 7 herbal teas.
Yeah, like chamomile, valerian root, melatonin.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, this is a pill. It's just a pill, so you know, I always like to drink. Yeah.
I like the tea is so good. And
yeah, it's good, but you know what? Like, I don't always want to have tea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To me, it's coffee in the morning and then tea at night. I used to drink a lot of coffee at night too, because since I was a kid, our Nina would give us in the BB in the bottle. She would give us coffee with sugar and all that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, we got off topic again.
How's your teeth?
Huh?
I think that would be hard on your teeth as a baby.
I know, right?
Just put some Coke. Like Coca-Cola.
I know. Gosh, that was really hard to get rid of that taste. Like I haven't had that drink or any soda for going on 3 years now. And just detoxing from the sugar, it was pretty hard because I was used to having my coffee and maybe a panecito, Mexican bread or tortilla, burritos. I have not had a burrito in maybe 3 years. And the tacos, I would sit down and eat the fried tacos like 10 or 12 at a time.
There's I'm going to say it wrong because my Hispanic friends make fun of me, but it's taqueria.
No, you said it right. Taqueria.
Well, I don't say it like that.
You said it right though.
Okay. Like a block from my house. Like, I don't even know the actual name of it. I just call it Jose's.
Everything's Jose or Jesus.
It's Jose's.
My first name was Jesus, and then when I got the divorce, I took it off.
Your first name was Jose. What?
It was Jesus Veronica. So I'm like, off with the head. I don't want the name.
Really? Isn't that a boy's name?
Guy. Yeah, and then for Guadalupe, it's also for men and women. Maria.
Guadalupe?
Jose Maria. Jose Guadalupe. Jesus. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because Hispanic people have like 40 names.
All the saints. Like, really? Like Jose Joaquin Maribundo del Ortega Ruiz Sanchez de la Fatima, whatever. I'm like, it's too many names. And for, our thing is to name the kids 2 names. And so my kids have 2 names. But I took mine off. They would call me in class. They'd be like, Jesus Bartolini. And I'd be like, hey. They're like, aren't you supposed to be a guy? No, not that I know of. But my mom couldn't have kids. So she said, if
you could have opened like a lemonade stand and call it Jesus's Juices. You missed it.
What up, Jesus?
Jesus's Juices.
Jesus's Juices. That's funny. JJ. Did I get it? I had a blonde moment. I don't get it.
What?
Never mind.
I'm laughing here in the background. At least Jesus. But for English listeners or English people who can't read quote unquote Hispanic, they'll be looking for Jesus.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
You are very holy.
Yeah, right. But yeah, my mom couldn't have kids, so she promised Zeus.
Your mom couldn't have kids. What?
Yeah, she couldn't have kids, and they had to give her these shots.
She had you.
I know, they had to give her all these shots.
Oh,
to have kids, and then she promised to Zeus, what I call Zeus, the fake one, we'll say, that if she had a boy or a girl, like if she could have a kid, that she named him or her Jesus, and my grandmother named me Veronica. So
I like Veronica.
Name. And then she was upset because she didn't have boys. So. Anyway, I'm like totally off topic. I think I'm
blame
tired.
Your dad, not you.
I'm tired, but I'm not tired. Like, I'm goofy tired. That's what happens when you don't want to go to bed and you gotta get up early the next morning.
Well, it's 12:30. It's 12:30 a.m. here. So
you better go, girl.
I'm not getting up for the gym at 5:45.
Ah, man. Okay. You'll be excused.
I'm not I didn't.
You'll just go to Jose's and then go to the gym.
I actually have a long day of work tomorrow, so it'll be okay.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Rest day.
Promise.
Rest day.
I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, darling. So can they get a hold of you on Facebook and stuff or YouTube?
Absolutely. Yep.
What's the name again?
I Evolve TV. That's on Facebook, or myself. Shannon Smith Robin.
I always say it backwards.
It's okay. I mean, Smith is my maiden name. Robin's my married name. Which one comes first?
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't matter how you say it, but it's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Thank you, Katie. And
yes, thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.